I have nothing but respect for what Nasty C just did in a recent interview when he was being interviewed. I'm not sure exactly where this is. He sat down in this interview and he explained a portion of this interview. I'll leave the video down in the description below. He explained why he's struggling to find a church, like why he's struggling to go to a church. And there's something else apart from the reason why he struggles to find a church. One, there's something that also happens in the discussion from the host side. Please do note it. And I want you to see how Nasty C deals with that as well.
I can't go to church, and that sucks.
Really?
Yeah.
Why not?
Because of how I feel when I'm in church.
Tell me about that.
I end up feeling like the devil.
No. Why?
Everyone is turning around looking at me instead of praying. You know what I mean? People are, and they're doing this. People are sneaking their phones and they're not listening. Like, they're not listening to what the pastor's saying. People are not really praying. People are just rushing for this thing to end so they can come showing me for pictures and stuff like that. That's weird. That's very weird. I don't think that should happen in that environment. That's why I can't go to church anymore. What else?
But these church folks, come on.
I don't blame. It's normal. Come on. Like, I would probably do the same thing. I'm not gonna lie. But, yeah, but it's a very weird thing.
So if that happens, that when you go to church, people like you can't go to church essentially, like you said. Yeah. Then how do you stay in touch with God, that relationship, and with your spirituality?
Okay, so I had this very weird phase, right? It's like existential crisis, whatever you want to call it, and I was like, all these questions about religion and God started popping up and all that kind of stuff. And the three people to really help me out with that kind of stuff and get me back on track is my father, my big brother, and a really, really close friend of mine, Alex, or Dr. Smile as people know him. Yeah, so they are like my anchors when it comes to that kind of... They always get me back on the straight and narrow whenever I start to...
Yeah. So those personal relationships are very important. Yeah,
I get different types of like wisdom from all three of them. Like, my father will obviously give it to me in like this very wise way.
Yeah.
My not my little brother, sorry. My big brother will break it down in ways that I can understand. Like, he'll translate it into like my language. And then my friend Alex, who's not even Christian, he's Baha'i. He will break it down to me in ways that's like, he will give me context of the whole thing. You know what I mean? He's not biased to his religion. He doesn't try and downplay Christianity or anything like that. Like, he'll put everything into perspective and give.
So, you'll notice in the discussion, he explains why he finds it difficult to find a church. Yeah. So, like, the things that fame has ruined for him, like being able to go to church. So he gets the whole thing. Of course, there is also the warning part to say, people who are far away from God or have relationships with God they claim they have relationships with God far away from the ones that you see in the Bible, you're going to have problems because their definition will be just broad. It will kind of put you within this idea or acceptance of spiritism or worship of spirit outside of fellowship with believers and brethren. And so it kind of puts you out of church, basically. And so religions like Baha'i and all those type of things, they can have that. And so there's that also, which is kind of like a warning to say, you are careful getting advice about religion or about Christianity, as you would say you were going to church, outside of people outside the faith. You want to get advice directly from people in things. So there's that. But he mentioned something pertaining, how fame has ruined it for him. Like, he recognizes that once he gets there, some people are rushing. You can see when the message has been preached, they're completely taken away with celebrity culture that they can't even focus. They can't wait to finish. So he feels like he's there doing the wrong thing. And that's unfortunate, yes. And he gets it. Right? He gets it. But then there's something that the guest does. The guest does, which is why I say I can absolutely respect how he handled it. The guest then says, but these church people, you know. And the reason why I thought that was very honorable how he answered that when she brought up, church people, is that there tends to be this expectation of Christians not being human, you know. People are so used to celebrity culture, right? And so the reactions that they give, celebrity culture, it's what they see on socials, it's how they kind of just, their reaction, their first reaction basically. So he gets that. But then this girl tries to paint that idea, you know, to say, how? Some of these church people. And thinking that might be because also she has issues with church people. That can come from wanting, and a lot of times, especially with interviewers and so forth, when they hold animosity towards something, the moment a person comments towards something that sounds like what they believe, which is either their animosity or whatever, you will hear them further that idea. And so I like that he quickly deflects that. No. It has nothing to do with them somehow. Now these church people are wicked. No, it's just celebrity culture. But I think when you find these things, it's like we all have to do, even this is not only for celebrities only. We all have to do these things as we grow. We go to churches and we get there and you just know, I don't think this is the right church for me. You go and you find another church. You go and you find another church. You go, you find another church. Sometimes it takes a minute. And nowadays, it makes it a little bit easier because social media gives you the ability to know where churches are, where these churches are, and what do they teach. So you can simply just spend a couple of thingy and watch what kind of teachings do they have inside those churches and whatnot, and then that way you are able to shortlist and say, I'll go to this church, I'll go to this church. What you don't want is just to go to the popular churches, because the popular churches tend to be the churches that have a lot of false prophets, a lot of falsehood, so you may say. So the same way we have to go to a church, find out the church does not preach a biblical doctrine, and go and look for a different church. I think that's the same thing that Nasty needs to do. He needs to just look them up. Their social media, look up what they teach, get away from the noisy ones that try to make it sound as if their God is directly in their church, like those ones. They are constantly claiming God is talking this, God is talking that. Yeah, you want to be careful with those ones. Not all of them are fake, but 95% of them are fake. And so you want to find that balance. It's something, the Bible says it is the duty of God to conceal a matter, but it's the duty of kings, the joy of kings, to find it out. So even truth functions in the same way. And if we pursue it, trust me, God reveals it and it comes thinking. But this also kind of comes back to us. Lesson for all of us. I've said it before. Be careful of other people's traumas, other people's fears becoming your fear. There are people who just completely object to church. Just like that. They don't care in what context you put it or what. They just object. They just completely object. You want to be careful with that because there's a lot of people that have this church hurt. It's becoming very bold. If you saw the earlier story where the lady just walked into a church and burned it, if you didn't see it, check the earlier episodes in the pinned comments. You'll see it's a growing hatred. It comes from somewhere, basically. It comes from somewhere. So you want to be careful of other people's thingy. The same way, Nurses here to watch out for the issues that this lady might have pertaining church. Just kind of like, okay. No interacto with that. Okay, it's a difficult thing to find a church, but just to remind, this is not only an ecstasy problem. This is a general problem. We all have to look till we find that thing. Now, the worst thing you will find is if you go to a church and the people in the church already treat their pastor as a celebrity, it's not going to be any better. It's not going to be any better. But we can easily investigate which churches, what does this church. They show their social media online. So you can go back, look up that. They push their pamphlets out there. You can go on social media, check. What do they teach? Some of them, you can literally just know, this church does not teach the right thing. So we all have to do that. But at the same time, while we do that, we want to watch out for other people's traumas, not to sound or be ours. Yeah, tell me your thoughts in the comment section. It's the Rick Reality Show, daily Christian commentary videos. We are all having to look the same way. It's tricky. Other episodes will be down there.